Human, why does your breeding tool grow when I touch it? The human ship Horizon floated quietly in the dark space above the Velari home world. Its metal hull reflected the distant stars, tiny pinpricks of light that seemed calm, almost peaceful. Inside, the human crew went about their routines, checking systems, scanning the planet below, and preparing for the first official contact with the alien species they had only studied from afar. The Velari were known as curious and intelligent, but very different from humans in both body and mind. Ethan Brooks, the ship's engineer, leaned over a console, tapping commands with practiced fingers. He was a tall man with light brown hair and green eyes. He had always been fascinated by alien technology, but today his heart felt different. It was a mix of excitement and nervousness. They were not just studying alien tech this time, they were meeting the Velari face to face. "Ethan," called Dr. Laura King, the ship's biologist, from across the room, "we are about to start the first exchange. Make sure your medical scan unit is ready. They want to see how humans react in controlled tests." Ethan nodded. He liked Laura. She was kind, patient, and endlessly curious about everything. She had been studying the Velari for years. "Unit is ready," he said. "I just hope they don't find humans too strange." Laura laughed softly. "Strange is subjective. The Velari will find us interesting, that's all." The ship's bridge announced. Approach coordinates reached. Prepare for orbital descent. The hum of engines changed as the ship adjusted its course. Ethan felt a tiny shiver run down his spine. He had seen alien worlds in simulations, but seeing one in real life was different. The Velari city spread below like crystalline structures, glowing softly in pale blue light. It looked beautiful and alive, and yet entirely alien. A soft chime called them to the conference room. Ethan followed Laura, along with Commander Jason Cole, a strong and calm man who carried responsibility like a heavy cloak. They entered the room to find several Velari waiting. They were tall, with slender limbs, smooth skin that glowed faintly, and eyes that seemed to look straight into a person's mind. The lead Velari, Luma, stepped forward. She had a long, graceful neck and pale violet eyes that shone with curiosity. "Welcome, humans," Luma said in a voice that was clear and melodic. "We are pleased to meet you." Ethan felt a nervous smile. He bowed slightly. "Thank you. We are honored to be here." Luma tilted her head, studying him carefully. "We wish to understand your body functions. They seem unpredictable." She spoke with honesty, without embarrassment, as was common among the Velari. Humans often hesitated to speak so directly, but the Velari had no filter. Commander Cole spoke up. "We can explain. Humans sometimes react in ways that are involuntary. It is normal. It does not mean anything inappropriate." Luma's eyes widened slightly. "Interesting. We will observe. Your reflexes are particularly curious." She motioned to a small device that looked like a medical scanner. It hovered near the table and hummed softly. Ethan felt Laura touch his arm. "Don't worry," she whispered. "Just cooperate. It is only a standard reflex test." Luma extended one delicate hand and lightly touched Ethan's arm as part of the scan. Immediately, he felt a reaction that he could not control. His body shifted, and he realized with horror that the Velari had noticed. "Why does your tool grow when I touch it?" Luma asked, her voice calm and curious, like she was asking about the weather. Silence filled the room. Ethan froze, his face burning. Laura covered her mouth to hide a small smile. Commander Cole's jaw tightened, but he remained calm. Ethan wanted to disappear. "It is a natural response," Laura said quickly. "It happens without intent. It is part of human biology." Luma's eyes glimmered with interest. "So it is not a sign of desire. It is automatic." "Exactly," Laura said. "Humans have hormones that sometimes cause the body to react without thinking." The Velari seemed to consider this. "Fascinating. We do not have such reactions. Our bodies respond only when we will it." "Your species is unpredictable." Ethan swallowed hard. He felt embarrassed but also a strange sense of pride. Humans were complex, and now the Velari would see that firsthand. Luma turned to the other Velari. "This species is fascinating. We must study further," she smiled gently. There was no judgment in her expression, only curiosity. After the scan, Ethan stepped back, trying to regain composure. "I hope I did not offend," he said. "Offend?" Luma tilted her head. "You did nothing wrong, you are simply human. We only seek understanding." Commander Cole sighed softly. "It is a learning moment. Everyone will be briefed and it will not affect our mission." Ethan nodded, though he still felt awkward. He could hear whispers from other crew members, and he knew that this incident would be remembered. Laura placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Don't worry, Ethan. You just taught them something very important. Humans are complicated. Sometimes that is our strength." Luma continued her observations, gently touching objects and human devices, making notes on a small holographic pad. She was methodical, patient, and completely fascinated by every detail. The rest of the day passed in a series of controlled experiments. Humans demonstrated reflexes, emotional responses, and problem-solving skills. The Velari watched with wide eyes, absorbing every detail. Ethan found himself gradually relaxing. The Velari were not mocking, only learning. During a short break, Ethan walked toward a window and looked at the planet below. The cities glimmered like tiny rivers of light, and he felt a mix of awe and relief. He had survived the first encounter. More importantly, he had survived it without any real harm, just a little embarrassment. Luma approached him, her glowing eyes gentle. "You are brave," she said simply. "Most humans would be embarrassed. You continue despite it." Ethan laughed softly, the sound breaking the tension. "Thank you. Bravery is easier when you have to save the world one step at a time." Luma tilted her head. "Saving the world, interesting phrase. We will remember it." As the day ended, the crew gathered for a briefing. Commander Cole spoke firmly but kindly. "Today was the first step. We will continue learning. Humans are complex, but that is part of our value. Never forget that." Ethan returned to his quarters, reflecting on the day. He had felt shame, fear, and curiosity all in one moment. Yet he also felt a growing respect for the Velari. They were honest, direct, and genuinely interested in understanding. Perhaps humans and Velari could learn much from each other. As he lay down, staring at the stars outside, he thought about Luma's question. It had been awkward, yes, but it had also opened a door. A door to understanding, to respect, and to a new kind of friendship across the stars. He closed his eyes, feeling a mixture of relief and excitement. The journey was only beginning, and already humans had shown their most important quality: resilience, even in moments of embarrassment. Tomorrow would bring new experiments, new interactions, and surely more moments that challenged both human pride and alien curiosity. Ethan felt ready, more than ever, to be a bridge between two very different species. And somewhere in the glow of the Velari city below, Luma studied the stars too, thinking of humans as a puzzle worth solving. A puzzle full of unexpected answers, strange reactions, and undeniable courage. The human ship hovered silently above the planet, a small dot in the vast universe, carrying with it humans who were strange, unpredictable, and remarkably capable of turning awkward moments into lessons of understanding. The morning light from the Velari planet spilled into the human ship, casting soft blue shadows across the walls. Ethan Brooks sat at the small dining table with Laura King and a few other crew members. The events from the previous day still lingered in his mind. The Velari's direct question had embarrassed him, but he also felt a strange pride. Humans were complicated, and now the aliens knew it. Commander Jason Cole entered the room, his footsteps calm but deliberate. He carried a small tablet and nodded at the team. "We have a busy day ahead," he said. "The Velari want more demonstrations. Today, they wish to observe human problem-solving under pressure. We need to make sure everyone is comfortable and understands the purpose. Ethan nodded, trying to push away lingering embarrassment. He was ready for the work, but he also felt nervous. The Velari had no sense of shame, no social filters. They would notice everything, and humans had a lot of odd reactions to simple situations. "Remember," Laura said softly, "it's all scientific. They are curious, not judgmental. Treat it like a puzzle." The team moved to the conference room, which had been cleared for experiments. The Velari were already there. Luma stood near the center, her violet eyes glowing faintly in the soft light. She smiled as Ethan and the crew entered. "Welcome back, humans. We are eager to continue our study," she said. "Thank you," Ethan replied, bowing slightly. He noticed the other Velari observing every movement with precision. Their bodies were elegant, almost fragile-looking, but there was a clear intelligence in their eyes. "Today," Luma continued, "we wish to see how humans react when faced with unexpected problems. We will introduce small challenges and observe your decisions and emotions." Commander Cole stepped forward. "We understand. The humans will cooperate fully. We will also explain each reaction if needed." Luma nodded, her eyes scanning the humans. She moved closer to Ethan. "You yesterday had a reaction unexpected. It was fascinating. We would like to understand more." Ethan felt heat rise to his face. He wanted to disappear. "I hope I can help," he stammered. "You can," Laura whispered. "Just stay calm and do your best." The Velari began the first exercise. A small puzzle box appeared in the center of the room. It glowed faintly and had multiple compartments and levers. The humans studied it carefully. Ethan bent over, examining the box. "It looks simple, but it may be tricky," he said. Laura smiled. "Humans tend to overthink things, but we also notice details." Luma observed quietly. "Your species uses many senses at once. Interesting." Ethan reached for a lever, and immediately a small part of the box moved incorrectly. A light flashed red. He frowned. "Not that one," he muttered. Laura tapped the side of the box. "Try observing first, then acting." The humans worked together, pulling levers, rotating panels, and pressing buttons. Ethan noticed how the Velari watched every detail. How they tilted their heads, how they held their hands, how their eyes seemed to follow each subtle motion. After a few minutes, the box clicked and a small compartment opened. Inside was a glowing crystal which seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. The humans exchanged quiet smiles. Ethan felt relief. They had solved it. Luma stepped closer. "Remarkable. You humans learn quickly but also hesitate. Your emotions affect your decisions. We have observed hesitation before." Commander Cole nodded. "Humans are emotional creatures. Our reactions are not always logical, but we learn from mistakes and adapt." The Velari seemed thoughtful. "Adaptation through emotion, curious. We adapt only through observation and choice. We do not experience fear or shame as you do." Ethan remembered yesterday. His reaction had caused embarrassment, but he had survived. He realized that human reactions were not weaknesses, they were part of survival. Our emotions sometimes guide us. "We can make mistakes, but we also try again," he said. Luma tilted her head, glowing eyes focused on him. "You mean your species gains strength from imperfection?" "Yes," Ethan said. "Sometimes mistakes teach us more than success." The Velari continued the exercises for the rest of the morning. They tested problem-solving, coordination, and emotional control. Ethan noticed that Luma often focused on small human behaviors. How hands trembled under pressure, how eyes widened with surprise, how hearts raced in fear or excitement. To the Velari, these were data points. To Ethan, they were part of being human. During a short break, Ethan and Laura walked to a viewing deck. The planet below shimmered, a network of glowing cities and flowing rivers. "They are amazing," Ethan said, "and so curious about us." Laura nodded. "Yes, but remember, they have no embarrassment. Their honesty can feel harsh, but it is not meant to hurt. It is meant to learn," Ethan sighed. "Yesterday was difficult. I felt ashamed. Laura smiled gently. You taught them something important. Human bodies are unpredictable. That is part of who we are. No one else could explain it better than you. Ethan looked down at his hands. I guess so. It still feels strange to have something so personal observed by aliens. We have to remember, Laura said, curiosity is not judgment. Luma wants to understand, not mock. This is how peace starts, by sharing honestly, even when it is uncomfortable. They returned to the conference room for the next exercise. This time, the Velari had prepared a simulation. Holographic obstacles appeared on the floor, and the humans were asked to navigate the maze without touching certain areas. It was a test of reflexes, coordination, and emotional control. Ethan stepped carefully, remembering the earlier embarrassment. His body reacted automatically in some moments, but he controlled himself. Luma observed every step. Your reactions are inconsistent but effective. It is fascinating. One of the obstacles moved suddenly, and Ethan jumped back instinctively. He almost tripped, but Laura steadied him. You reacted correctly, she whispered. Luma tilted her head. We notice your fear. It slows you at first, but eventually helps you succeed. Your instincts guide you. Ethan felt a strange pride. Humans were emotional, yes, but their instincts often saved them. Perhaps that unpredictability was part of human strength. As the exercises ended, Commander Cole gathered the team. Well done. Today we showed that humans can adapt quickly, even under stress. Our reactions may seem strange to the Velari, but they are effective. Luma approached Ethan one more time. You teach us something new every day. Yesterday, today, you are a living lesson. Ethan blushed slightly but smiled. Thank you. I hope we can continue to learn from each other. The Velari nodded, glowing faintly. We will. Your species is unusual but admirable. We are beginning to understand that imperfection can be strength. That evening, Ethan returned to his quarters. He felt exhausted but satisfied. The Velari were not just observing, they were learning, and humans were teaching. He thought about the earlier embarrassment, and now it felt different. It was part of the process, part of being human. He wrote in his personal log, humans are strange. Our bodies react in ways we cannot control. Our emotions can embarrass us, but they also guide us. The Velari see us honestly. I think they are beginning to respect what it means to be human. Maybe that is the most important lesson of all. Outside, the stars shone silently. The human ship floated above a world of light and knowledge. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, more interactions, and more lessons for both species. Ethan knew that humans would continue to be awkward, unpredictable, and emotional. But he also knew that those very traits were exactly what made them valuable. And somewhere below, Luma studied the human behavior logs. She recorded every reaction, every hesitation, every success. She thought about the complexity of humans, how their flaws were part of their power, and how curiosity and honesty bridged the gap between species. The night passed quietly. The horizon rested in orbit, carrying humans who were strange, emotional, and resilient. They had survived their first tests, and they had taught the Velari that unpredictability could be a strength. And for Ethan, that knowledge brought a calm pride. Humans were complicated, yes. But in a galaxy full of perfect creatures, it was their imperfections that made them truly remarkable. The next morning, the horizon hovered quietly above the Velari planet. The human crew gathered in the conference room for the day's sessions. Yesterday had been challenging, with puzzles, reflex exercises, and emotional reactions that had surprised both humans and Velari. Today promised to be more focused on understanding the human body and behavior from a scientific perspective. Ethan Brooks stretched as he entered the room, feeling a mixture of nervousness and curiosity. Laura King walked beside him, carrying a small data tablet. Don't worry, she said. We have prepared explanations for every reaction. If the Velari ask questions, just answer honestly. Ethan nodded, though he still felt a little anxious. The previous day's incident, the unexpected reaction Luma had observed, was still fresh in his mind. He had hoped that today things would be calmer. The Velari were already waiting. Luma stood near a large holographic display, her violet eyes glowing faintly. She smiled when she saw Ethan. "Welcome back, humans. Today we will learn more about your species, biology, and emotions." Commander Jason Cole stepped forward. "We are ready. Humans will explain their reactions as needed. Our goal is to share knowledge." Luma tilted her head, studying Ethan carefully. "Your body reacted yesterday in ways we do not experience. We wish to understand the cause and purpose." Ethan felt his face grow warm. He wanted to hide, but he reminded himself that this was scientific observation, not judgment. "It is automatic," he said. "Our bodies sometimes react without thought. It does not mean anything intentional." "Interesting," Luma said. "In our species, all responses are conscious. We do not experience involuntary reactions like yours." Dr. Laura King stepped forward. "Humans have hormones that affect the body. They can cause physical changes in response to emotions, stress, or other stimuli. Sometimes these reactions are visible, sometimes subtle. It is all part of our biology." The Veleri seemed thoughtful. "So your bodies act independently of your minds?" one of them asked. "Sometimes," Laura replied. "But that is part of being human. We can control some reactions, but others are automatic." Ethan watched as Luma took notes on a holographic pad. "We will need to observe more closely," she said. "Your species is unpredictable." The first exercise of the day involved a series of simple tasks designed to trigger both emotional and physical responses. The humans were asked to pick up objects, solve small mechanical problems, and react to minor surprises. The Velari watched carefully, noting every detail. Ethan moved through the tasks, aware of the Velari's gaze. Each time he reacted automatically, he felt a flicker of embarrassment, but he reminded himself that this was observation, not judgment. Laura occasionally whispered guidance, helping him explain what each reaction meant. After the tasks, Luma spoke. "Your reactions are fascinating. You experience emotions, fear, and anticipation. Your body responds to each, sometimes unpredictably. This is very different from our species." "Humans are emotional," Commander Cole said. "We can be afraid, nervous, or excited. Sometimes our bodies react before we even think about it. It is part of how we survive." Luma considered this. "So imperfection is part of strength. Your mistakes and reactions allow you to adapt." "Yes," Ethan said, feeling a little more confident. "Sometimes our emotions guide us to make better decisions. Sometimes they slow us down, but they are part of who we are." The Velari Council requested a demonstration of human cooperation under stress. They set up a simulation where humans had to move objects through a shifting environment while maintaining balance and timing. The simulation also included minor surprises, like sudden obstacles or changes in lighting. Ethan led his team carefully. Each step required focus and quick adjustment. He noticed that the Velari were fascinated not just by success, but by hesitation, fear, and laughter. They took notes whenever a human reacted unexpectedly. "Your species is remarkable," Luma said after the exercise. "You face danger, embarrassment, and uncertainty, yet you continue. You learn from mistakes and adapt. We do not understand how this works, but it is admirable." Ethan felt a warm sense of pride. Humans were not perfect, but their flaws were part of their strength. Even yesterday's awkward moment had taught Luma and the Velari something important. The Velari then requested a lesson in human reproduction and biological processes. Ethan hesitated, but Laura stepped forward. "We can explain in scientific terms," she said. "Nothing inappropriate, just biology," Luma nodded. "We only seek understanding. Your species is complex and knowledge is valuable." Laura carefully explained how humans reproduced, using diagrams and careful language. She explained that certain physical reactions were natural and automatic, and that they did not always indicate intention or desire. The Velari listened attentively, absorbing every detail. "So these reactions are not intentional," Luma said, tilting her head. "They are caused by internal processes. Fascinating. Your species contains hidden mechanisms we do not possess." Ethan added, "Yes, humans are full of surprises. Our bodies do things we do not always control, but that is part of being human." Luma's eyes glowed softly. "It is strange, but we respect this. Your unpredictability is part of your survival. It makes your species resilient." After the lesson, the Velari asked humans to participate in a teamwork exercise. They had to solve a mechanical puzzle while balancing on moving platforms. Each misstep could slow progress. The humans worked together, communicating clearly and adjusting strategies. Ethan noticed how the Velari observed even minor gestures: a hand reaching for support, a glance signaling attention, a subtle pause before acting. Every detail mattered to them. When the exercise ended successfully, Luma stepped forward. "Humans are remarkable. You cooperate, learn, and adapt despite uncertainty. Your emotions guide you, and your imperfections are your strength. This is an important lesson for us." Commander Cole smiled. "That is the human way. We are not perfect, but we try, we adapt, and we learn from experience." Ethan felt a quiet satisfaction. Humans had taught the Velari about courage, mistakes, and resilience. He realized that yesterday's embarrassment had been a part of this process. Every awkward moment, every automatic reaction had contributed to understanding. Later, during a short break, Ethan and Laura walked on the observation deck. The planet below shimmered like a sea of blue light. Ethan sighed. "I feel like we really made progress today, even with yesterday's incident." Laura smiled. "You did. You showed them human biology, emotions, and honesty. You taught them that unpredictability can be strength." Ethan nodded. "I guess being human means being messy sometimes, but that messiness can be powerful." Laura laughed softly. "Exactly, and they are starting to understand that. They see our value now, not just our oddities." That evening, the humans gathered for a debriefing. Commander Cole spoke calmly. "Today, we showed that humans can cooperate, adapt, and learn quickly. Our reactions may seem strange to the Velari, but they are effective. We also shared honest explanations of our biology and emotions. This is a step toward mutual understanding." Luma approached Ethan one final time. "You have taught us much. Your species is unusual but admirable. Imperfection does not weaken you, it strengthens you. We will continue to study and learn." Ethan felt a quiet pride. "Thank you. I hope we can continue to learn from each other. Humans have much to offer, and so do the Velari." As the crew returned to their quarters, Ethan reflected on the day. Humans were awkward, emotional, and unpredictable, but these traits had value. They allowed humans to adapt, survive, and teach others about resilience. He wrote in his log, "Humans are strange and unpredictable. We feel fear, embarrassment, and curiosity. Our reactions may surprise others, but they show strength." Today, the Velari learned that mistakes and emotions are part of what makes us powerful. This is a lesson worth sharing. Outside, the stars glimmered, and the Velari cities below pulsed softly with light. The human ship floated silently, carrying people who were imperfect, emotional, and resilient. They had survived new tests, and they had taught the Velari that unpredictability, honesty, and cooperation were forms of strength. Ethan closed his eyes, feeling calm but alert. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, more lessons, and deeper understanding. Humans were strange, yes, but in a galaxy full of perfect beings, it was their imperfections that made them remarkable. And somewhere below, Luma studied her notes, recording every reaction, every hesitation, and every success. She thought about how humans combined emotion and action, mistakes and learning, embarrassment and courage. She realized that imperfection could indeed be a form of power, and humans embodied it fully. The horizon rested above the glowing planet, carrying humans who were awkward, emotional, and brave. They had survived challenges, taught lessons, and built the beginnings of trust with a species unlike any other. And for Ethan, that knowledge brought a quiet pride. Humans were not perfect, but their imperfections made them extraordinary. The human ship Horizon floated in orbit above the Velari home world, its engines humming quietly. The morning light reflected on the windows, painting soft blue streaks across the walls of the ship. Ethan Brooks looked out at the planet below, feeling a mix of calm and anticipation. Yesterday had been full of lessons about human reactions, emotions, and unpredictability. Today, the Velari had requested practical demonstrations of human skill under pressure. Commander Jason Cole gathered the crew in the conference room. "We have been asked to help with a station maintenance exercise," he said. "This will test our ability to adapt under stress. The Velari want to see human cooperation in real time." Laura King, standing beside him, nodded. "They are curious about how we handle crises. They understand theory, but they want practice. It will also show them that humans can remain calm and effective even when surprised." Ethan took a deep breath. He liked theory, puzzles, and controlled tests, but real emergencies were different. "I just hope we can do this without any surprises like yesterday," he said quietly. Laura smiled. "Remember, surprises are part of being human. How we respond is what matters." The horizon moved closer to a large Velari maintenance station. Its crystalline structure glowed softly, reflecting the pale blue light of the planet. Humans and Velari both had access to the station's systems, but the Velari relied on precise routines, while humans brought creativity and improvisation. As soon as the crew entered the station, alarms rang. Lights flashed red and a small structural failure appeared in one of the corridors. A maintenance drone had malfunctioned, blocking access to a critical energy conduit. Commander Cole shouted calmly, "Everyone to your stations. Assess the problem and prepare a solution." Ethan checked the power rerouting system. Ethan rushed to the control panel. His hands moved quickly, tapping controls, reading diagnostics. The system required careful coordination, and the pressure made his heart race. The Velari observed silently, glowing eyes focused on each action. Luma approached him. "Humans react strongly to unexpected danger," she said. "Your species experiences fear, yet you continue to act. It is remarkable." Ethan swallowed hard. "Fear helps focus sometimes," he said. "It warns us, but it doesn't stop us." Laura worked beside him, guiding his actions. "Reroute the power carefully. You can override the blocked conduit temporarily." The station trembled slightly as the energy fluctuations continued. The Velari maintained calm, but their sensors recorded the humans' every response. They noted how Ethan's hands moved, how his eyes scanned the system, how his breathing quickened under pressure. Every detail was part of understanding human resilience. Ethan managed to bypass the blocked conduit temporarily, restoring partial power. The lights stabilized and alarms quieted. He wiped sweat from his brow. "Partial success," he said. "We need a full solution to prevent another failure." Luma nodded. "Your species adapts quickly. Even under fear, you find solutions. We will continue to observe." The humans moved to the next task, repairing a structural panel that had cracked during the power surge. Ethan and Laura worked together, using tools to secure the panel. The Velari watched closely, noting how humans used improvisation and cooperation. One Velari asked, "Why do humans sometimes hesitate? You pause before acting." Ethan explained, "We consider options. Hesitation can prevent mistakes even if it slows us down. We learn from our decisions as we act. Your species balances caution with action," the Velari said. "It is unusual but effective." As the repair continued, another problem appeared. A secondary conduit overheated, threatening to shut down the station's life support. The humans split into teams, coordinating quickly. Ethan took charge of one section, directing Laura and two other crew members. "Reroute the auxiliary lines," Ethan shouted, "and monitor the temperature closely." The team worked in harmony, each person performing their tasks while responding to new challenges. The Velari observed with fascination. They had routines and procedures, but humans combined improvisation, teamwork, and emotion to adapt in real time. Ethan noticed Luma studying him. "You humans are remarkable," she said quietly. "You continue despite fear, embarrassment, and uncertainty. Your mistakes do not stop you, they guide you." Ethan felt a small smile. "Sometimes mistakes teach us more than success," he said. "We learn by doing and by correcting what goes wrong." After several tense minutes, the humans successfully stabilized the station. The energy flows returned to normal, structural panels were secure, and life support operated safely. The Velari let out soft hums of approval. Commander Cole clapped his hands lightly. "Excellent work. Everyone adapted, improvised, and solved problems under real stress. This is exactly what the Velari wanted to see." Luma approached Ethan again. "Your species' emotions, fear, embarrassment, excitement, they guide action, not just thought. You are resilient in ways we do not experience. It is admirable." Ethan's chest swelled with pride. Humans were messy, emotional, and unpredictable, but those traits had just saved an entire station. He realized that yesterday's embarrassment, the awkward reactions, and the stress of exercises had all prepared them for this moment. Later, the crew gathered for debriefing. Commander Cole addressed the humans and Velari together. "Today showed that humans can face unexpected problems with courage and cooperation. Our emotions guide us, our mistakes teach us, and our adaptability is our strength. We hope this demonstrates the value of humans in practical situations, not just theory." Luma spoke next. "Humans have taught us an important lesson. Unpredictability, emotion, and imperfection are not weaknesses, they are strengths. Your species survives and succeeds because of these qualities. We now understand why you are resilient." Ethan felt relief and pride. The Velari were beginning to appreciate human unpredictability not as a flaw, but as a form of power. He realized that humans had something no other species had: the ability to combine emotion, thought, and action in unpredictable but effective ways. That evening, Ethan returned to his quarters, exhausted but satisfied. He reflected on the day's events. Humans were awkward, emotional, and sometimes embarrassed, but in real moments of crisis, those very traits became their strength. He wrote in his log, "Today, humans showed courage under pressure. Fear, hesitation, and emotion guided our actions, but we adapted and succeeded." The Velari learned that our imperfections are part of our power. Even mistakes are lessons. This is what makes humans remarkable. Outside, the station and the human ship glowed softly against the Velari planet. The stars were quiet witnesses to human resilience, imperfection, and bravery. Ethan thought about Luma and the other Velari. They had no embarrassment, no fear, no hesitation, but they had observed how humans turned these challenges into strength. He realized that humans and Velari could learn much from each other. Velari could learn adaptability, improvisation, and courage under stress, while humans could learn precision, calmness, and patience. As night fell over the planet, the human crew rested, knowing they had accomplished something important. The Velari had observed, learned, and respected them in ways that went beyond simple scientific curiosity. Humans were no longer just strange, unpredictable creatures. They were survivors, teachers, and partners. Ethan closed his eyes, thinking about the journey so far. Humans were imperfect, yes, but imperfection could be strength. Unpredictability could be power. Embarrassment could teach humility, and mistakes could guide wisdom. In a galaxy full of precise, perfect beings, Humans were extraordinary in ways no one else could understand. And somewhere in the Velari station, Luma recorded her observations, her glowing eyes reflecting admiration. She understood now that emotion, hesitation, and unpredictability were not weaknesses. They were part of human survival, human ingenuity, and human courage. The horizon rested silently above the planet, carrying humans who were awkward, emotional, and brave. They had faced real danger, solved problems under pressure, and taught a new species an important lesson: that imperfections can become power, and unpredictability can become strength. Ethan felt pride in his chest, knowing humans had shown the galaxy what it truly meant to be resilient. And he knew that tomorrow would bring new lessons, new challenges, and more opportunities to prove that humans, despite, or because of, their flaws, were remarkable. The horizon floated in quiet orbit above the Velari planet. The events of the past days had been intense. Humans had demonstrated their unpredictability, emotions, and resilience. The Velari had observed carefully, learning about human biology, behavior, and problem-solving. Now, the final phase of the cultural exchange had begun, a full demonstration of understanding and trust between the two species. Ethan Brooks stood on the observation deck, watching the pale blue light of the Velari cities shimmer below. He felt calm but alert. The crew had survived challenges, awkward moments, and real danger. They had taught the Velari about imperfection, emotion, and resilience. Now, it was time to show that humans and Velari could work together in harmony. Commander Jason Cole gathered the team in the conference room. Today, we will combine everything we have learned. Humans and Velari will collaborate on a project. It will require coordination, communication, and trust. The goal is to build something that neither species could create alone. Laura King smiled at Ethan. This is exciting. It's the chance to show how humans' adaptability and Velari precision can work together. Ethan nodded. I'm ready. Let's do this. Luma and the Velari team arrived, their glowing eyes calm and observant. Luma stepped forward. Humans, today we will cooperate. Your species' unpredictability is now understood, respected, and valued. We will create together. The project was ambitious, repairing and upgrading a communication array that connected the Velari planet to distant outposts. It required delicate mechanical work, rapid problem-solving, and improvisation. Humans would handle adaptive problem-solving and unexpected issues, while Velari would handle precise assembly and calculations. The team spread out across the station. Ethan worked with Laura and two Velari, coordinating the repair of the main transmitter. A delicate panel needed adjustment, but a hidden fault caused it to misalign every time it was moved. Try a gentle twist, Luma suggested, her voice calm. Apply pressure carefully. Ethan adjusted his grip, listening to Laura's advice and the Velari guidance. He moved slowly, feeling the panel shift slightly. Then it caught. He paused, assessing the reaction. The Velari observed silently. Good, Luma said. Now adjust incrementally. Humans often notice subtle feedback. Use it. Ethan smiled slightly. Humans had learned to observe small cues, to react quickly, and to adapt. He guided the panel while Laura held the opposite side. The Velari placed a support brace, perfectly aligned. Together they completed the adjustment. The panel locked into place. Excellent work, Luma said. Your combination of observation, adaptation, and precision achieves what neither species could do alone. Ethan felt a surge of pride. Humans had awkward, emotional, unpredictable reactions, but today those very traits had been useful. Mistakes were corrected quickly, improvisation guided success, and cooperation made them stronger. The next task involved the energy conduits. The original system had been damaged during previous tests, and it required rerouting to improve efficiency. Humans and Velari moved side by side, sharing controls and instructions. Whenever a problem appeared, Humans proposed a solution quickly, and Velari executed with precision. Ethan noticed one Velari watching him closely. "You are different from other species," she said softly. "You combine emotion and calculation. Fear does not stop you, hesitation guides you. It is impressive." "Thank you," Ethan replied. "We adapt. Mistakes help us learn. It is part of being human." Laura added, "Humans are imperfect, yes, but imperfection can be strength." "We adjust, adapt, and continue." The Velari nodded, recording every observation. Luma smiled. "We understand now. Imperfection, emotion, and unpredictability are not weaknesses. They are part of your power." As the humans and Velari continued, small challenges appeared. A panel jammed, a conduit overheated, a tool slipped. Each time, humans reacted instinctively, adjusting quickly, while Velari executed precise movements. Together, the two species solved every problem. Ethan realized that this project was more than technical work. It was a demonstration of mutual respect. Humans had shown their unpredictability could be controlled, and Velari had shown their precision could complement improvisation. Together, they created something greater than the sum of their parts. After hours of work, the communication array was fully operational. The lights on the station glowed steadily, signaling success. Energy flowed efficiently, systems functioned perfectly, and the humans and Velari stood back to admire their work. Luma approached Ethan. "Humans, you have taught us more than biology or problem-solving. You have taught us cooperation through imperfection, courage through hesitation, and creativity through unpredictability. We are grateful." Ethan felt warmth in his chest. "Thank you. The Velari have also taught us patience, precision, and calm observation." "We learned from you as well." Commander Cole stepped forward. "Today, we have shown that humans and Velari can achieve greatness together. Our differences are not obstacles, they are strengths. By understanding each other, we have created something remarkable." Laura nodded. "Our species can be very different, but respect, cooperation, and honesty bridge the gap. We can build more than structures, we can build trust." The Velari Council recorded the event. Luma addressed both humans and Velari. "This day will be remembered. Humans have shown us the value of emotion, adaptability, and imperfection. We will teach future generations that unpredictability can be a form of strength, and courage is not always without fear. Humans are remarkable." Ethan smiled. He felt the pride of being human with all the messiness, emotion, and unpredictability that came with it. Humans were not perfect, but perfection was not necessary. Resilience, courage, and creativity mattered more. That evening, the horizon rested in orbit. The planet glowed softly, reflecting the combined efforts of two very different species. Ethan looked out at the lights below, thinking about the journey. Humans had been awkward, emotional, and sometimes embarrassed, but those traits had become assets. He wrote in his log, "Humans are imperfect. We feel fear, embarrassment, and curiosity. We make mistakes, but we learn. Our unpredictability and emotions are our strength." Today, humans and Velari work together to achieve something neither could do alone. That is what it means to be human. The Velari gathered with humans for a final ceremony. Luma presented a symbolic gift, a crystal network representing the communication array, glowing with a soft blue light. "This represents cooperation, understanding, and respect," she said. "Humans, you are now recognized not just as visitors but as partners. Your strengths are our lessons." Ethan accepted the gift, feeling a mix of pride and humility. "Thank you. Humans and Velari will continue to learn from each other. Together we can achieve much more than alone." The crew celebrated quietly, sharing stories, laughter, and reflection. Humans had survived awkward questions, embarrassing reactions, and real danger. They had taught the Velari about imperfection, emotion, and adaptability. In return, they had learned patience, precision, and observation. As the night deepened, Ethan walked to the observation deck once more. The stars shimmered above, The Velari cities pulsed below, and he felt a quiet confidence. Humans were strange, yes, but their very strangeness was their power. Courage, resilience, and adaptability flowed through every action. Mistakes had become lessons, embarrassment had become growth, and unpredictability had become a strength. Luma appeared beside him. "Humans," she said softly, "you have shown us that imperfection is not failure. Your unpredictability is a gift. Your courage and cooperation inspire us. We will remember this always." Ethan smiled. "Thank you. We have learned much from you too." Respect, patience, and observation are powerful lessons. Together, we are stronger. The horizon drifted silently in orbit, carrying humans who were awkward, emotional, and brave. They had survived, taught lessons, and built trust with a species unlike any other. Their imperfections had become strengths, their mistakes had become tools, and their unpredictability had become power. Ethan closed his eyes, feeling the pride and calm of accomplishment. Humans were not perfect, but in a galaxy full of precise and perfect beings, their imperfection made them extraordinary. They were resilient, adaptable, and courageous. They were human, and somewhere below, Luma recorded her final notes. Humans were not just strange and emotional, they were remarkable. Their flaws were their strengths, their hesitation was their guidance, and their courage was their power. She knew that humans would be remembered across the stars as a species capable of turning imperfection into greatness. The horizon rested above the planet, carrying humans who had learned, taught, and grown. They had faced embarrassment, danger, and unpredictability, and in doing so, they had proven why humans were truly extraordinary. Ethan looked at the stars, thinking of the future. Humans would continue to be imperfect, emotional, and unpredictable, but those very traits would carry them far across the galaxy. He smiled, proud to be human, proud to be part of a species that could turn every flaw into a form of strength. And in that quiet moment, the horizon floated above the glowing Velari world, a symbol of cooperation, respect, and the remarkable power of being human.